February 6, 2013. I am Beatrice Kejo, Special Magistrate for the City of North Miami. The purpose of this hearing is to determine if a code violation exists at your property as observed and cited by a code enforcement officer of this city. If the city is not able to prove its case, then I will dismiss the case and you may leave. These proceedings are being recorded. Therefore, all persons who are speaking should do so one at a time to ensure that all testimony is clearly audible on the recording device. If English is not your primary language, then please inform me when I call your case. We have a translator who will assist you during the proceedings. When your case is called, the property owner, agent for the property owner, or any witness that you may have should come forward to the podium on the left side of the room. When asked, please speak directly into the microphone and say aloud your name, your business or mailing address, and your relationship to the property. If you are not the property owner or an attorney representing the property owner, then you must present a notarized power of attorney affidavit in order for your testimony to be taken on behalf of the property owner. For new cases, you will be asked for the record if you are aware of and understand the violation that is being heard today, and do you understand what is required to resolve the violation. Please answer accordingly. The city will present its case first, and then the property owner will be given an opportunity to testify on their own behalf, to bring forward witnesses to testify, to present evidence and photographs, and to cross-examine the city's witnesses. Following the case presentation, I will issue a finding of fact on the case. If I find that a violation of the city codes existed at your property, then depending on the case type, I will set an abatement date for the violation to be resolved. For repeat violations, I will impose a daily fine amount. For new non-repeat cases, a daily fine amount I may impose. My order will include an abatement date by which you must resolve the violation, a daily fine amount that I may impose at a future hearing date should the violation not be resolved by the abatement date. If I find sufficient cause to postpone enforcement action at this time, I will table this case proceeding to another hearing date in the future. If you do not agree with my finding of fact and or ruling, then the property owner may appeal the administrative order on the case to the circuit court. An appeal must be filed within 30 days of the date of the execution of the administrative order to be appealed. In accordance with Florida statutes, if a person decides to appeal any decision made by the special magistrate with respect to any matter considered at these proceedings, then the person will need a verbatim record of the proceeding. This record includes the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The cost of obtaining the verbatim record shall be the sole responsibility of the appellant. And it is recommended that person who plan to appeal their case should provide their own court reporter at this proceedings. Pursuant to city codes, if the city of North Miami prevails in prosecuting a case before the special magistrate, the city shall be entitled to recover all costs incurred in prosecuting the case. The current cost assessment amount is $100 per case. Once the city records an order that imposes a fine and authorizes a lien against the property, then the city will charge additional administrative fees to record and release the lien. Now, if you are giving testimony today, we ask that you please rise and raise your hand. And
If you're giving testimony in the case this evening, please rise, raise your right hand, and take the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please say, I do. Thank you.
if everyone can remain standing.
You'll remain standing. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May you see.
Mr. Graham, will you announce any additions, corrections, or deletions to the hearing agenda, please?
Yes, Your Honor. We do have a number of cases that have come into compliance or that will be postponed to another hearing calendar. If you refer to your agenda, starting with agenda item number 1 for 1571 LLC, case CEODS 2012-00133 is complied. Item number 2 and 3, Afzal and Sabia Khan, case CEBNP 2012-00011 and CELDR 2012-00004 are both going to be postponed for 1 month, and we'll bring that back on the March hearing calendar. Item 6, Andrea Fermat, case CEJNK 2012-00162 has complied. Item 8, Antonio and Gloria Velez, case CEIVY 2012-00237 is complied. Item 9, Bayview Towers Condo Association, case FYREC 2011-00118 postponed to March. Item number 10, Benita Da Roche, case CEOSV 2013-00001 is complied. Item 11, Branko Markovic and Rebecca Walter, CEEXP 2012-00254 is complied. Item 12, Erlene and Roberta Lightborn, CEMHS 2012-00017 will be postponed to March. Turning to the next page. Item 14, Emmeline and Klaus Schultz, case CEBMP 2012-00091 is complied. Item 15, Federal National Mortgage Association, case CEEXP 2012-00195 is complied. Item 16, Fernando and Ivan Gazmuri, CELDR 2012-00023 postponed to April. Items number 17 and 18, Francisca and Serena, case CEEXP 2012-00230 and CEPFY 2012-00193 have both complied. Item 19, Fritz Gerald Jean-Baptiste, CEBNP 2012-00112 has complied. Item 20, Gary and Marie Antoine Lafelle, CEXP 2012-00236 has complied. Item 21, German and Margarita Cardona, CEXP 2012-00209 is complied. Item 22 is Ismail Kaba and Veronica Mackin, CEXP 2012-00156 is complied. Turning to the next page, item 24, Jean E. Jerome, CEXP 2012-00238 is complied. Item 25, Jean Narcisse and Berlinda Pascal, CEJNK 2012-00136 is complied. Item 29, Karen De Leon, CEXP 2012-00199 has complied. Item 30, Marie J. Charles, CEIVY 2012-00242 has complied. Item 31, Mazel Tov Unlimited Inc., CEIVY 2012-00247 is off calendar due to an ownership change. Item 32, Melody B. Lardizabal, CEBNP 2012-00100, postponed to March. Turning to the next page, item 33, Minerve Michelle, CEEXP 2012-00186, has complied. Item number 38, Ronald Saint-Just, KCEIVY 2013-00002, has complied. Item 39, Robert M. Barnett Sr., CEBNP 2012-00115, is postponed to March. Item 40, Segundino Wagon, CEXP 2012-00240, has complied. Item 41, Silencia Francois, CEXP 2012-00241, is complied. Item 42, Simone Hippolyte, CEXP 2012-00176, is complied. Turning to the last page, item number 44, Thor Solbergero Corporation, CEMHO 2012-00047, is complied. Item 45, Tom Eastwood, CELDR 2012-00022, is postponed to April. Item 46, Urban Investors Inc., CEIVY 2012-00235, has complied. Item 47, Victor Capellas, CEMHO 2012-00074, postponed to March. And item 48, Violette Saint Serene, CELDR 2012-00062, is postponed to March. Those are the corrections to the agenda for this evening.
We're ready to call the first case.
Okay. The first case this evening will be agenda item number 7 for Anita Jones, who has the property at 1980 Northeast 119 Road, KCENUS 2012-00049. This is a case cited by Code Officer Ivy Kierson, who opened this case on November 17, 2012 for unfinished construction and debris at the property. Good evening. If you would please identify yourselves for the record.
Good evening. Kimberly Cannon, counsel for Dr. Anita Jones. I'm with Bogert and Rimbaud TL at 2121 Ponce de Leon, Suite 600, Coral Gables, Florida 33124.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Anita Jones.
Good evening, Doctor. This is a new case, and I would just have to ask you, when you received the notice, did you understand the notice?
Yes, we did.
And what you had to do?
We've talked to Ivy about what needs to be taken care of.
All right. We're going to let him present the case and how he came to cite the property for the violation. And when he's completed with his testimony, we'll allow you to ask any questions you have of him and then to present your case to the court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kierson.
Good evening, Code Officer Ivy Kierson. I'm with the City of North Miami Police Department, Code Compliance Unit. Property address is 1980 Northeast 119th Road. This is a homesteaded property. The property is vacant. Property is under construction. There are no current life safety issues on the property. Well, I take that back. There are some life safety issues because of the fact that the construction fence around the property has been removed, and because of the actual access to the property, it could cause she could be held liable for whatever damages may come to someone. But this property came to my attention as a complaint from some of the surrounding neighbors. The property was cited for a nuisance violation. The property it was under construction, and construction has ceased. I cited the property back on November 17th. Sent out a violation letter the same day. Hadn't had any response from the property owner. First response that I've had from Ms. Cannon was on yesterday. I spoke to her on yesterday, and we did speak about what needed to be done at the property, and she did say that they would try to comply. However, I do understand that they've been having some issues with the contractor, and I think that Dr. Jones and Ms. Cannon, they can probably further elaborate on what's going on. But I'd like to submit the pictures for the record.
Please.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Jones and Ms. Cannon, did these photos accurately depict your residence?
I think the first page is from today, if that's
Yes.
correct.
Yes,
and
this
then
was taken today, and the others are taken January 14th.
14th.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kirsten, do you have any additional testimony?
No, not right now. Not
Okay,
at this time.
Dr. Jones and Ms. Cannon, do you have any questions of Code Officer Kirsten?
No, not at this time.
Okay. At this time, we'll give you the opportunity to give any explanations or present anything you want to the magistrate.
Yes, good evening. My firm has essentially been retained because of these issues that Dr. Jones has been having with her contractor. And this, of course, is one of those issues. She has a contract with her contractor. Maintenance of the site is one of the contractor's obligations under that contract, and we forwarded him the notices of violation, contacted him. I have copies of our correspondence with him and his counsel concerning the issues at the site, as well as the other ongoing issues with the construction, and they've essentially declined to assist us at this time. So we are going to go forward and take measures to deal with the situation on her own. And so we'd request a period of time to be able to take these measures and cure the violations. And if you'd like, I can give you copies of our correspondence with the contractor.
If I can
Would
pass
you
it.
like to see that?
I just want to see it,
Okay.
please. Does the city attorney need to see it? Counsel, how long do you believe your client will need to fix the problem?
I think 20 days would be a reasonable period of time.
We have no objection.
Okay. Officer?
No objection.
Okay.
Sorry, there were a lot of letters. Yes. Okay. Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Would it be your presentation to here today that if you're not able to get the contractor to come back and fix the problem, that you would be able to get someone else to fix it? I'm just concerned about the life safety issues that the code officer talked about, especially the missing fence. So would you be able to remedy that problem within 20 days? Is that what you're...
We're going to try to. That was the issue. The contractor had the fence up for a period of time. Unbeknownst to us, one day he just took it down. So we've requested that he put it up. Since he's not working with us on it, we're going to try and address that issue.
Okay.
Let me respond and say that we will put up the fence if our contractor doesn't do it. So
Okay.
we will do it.
City Attorney, would you okay with us tabling this for third?
Yeah, no objection, that's fine.
Okay.
No objection.
I'm giving you back the letters that was provided by council, as well as your file, reviewing the photographs that were presented to me dated on this day, 2/6/2013. Thank you, officer. Okay, do you understand that we will postpone this for next month? What is it, the next hearing date, March 6th?
March 6th.
2013, and if it is fixed, please make contact with the officer and let them know. That way he will remove it from the agenda. But if not, then we'll want you to come back here next month,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
They have your card? Okay, good.
Want to call the next case? I see that we have a couple of attorneys in the room.
I'm going to be calling all the
Okay.
attorneys.
Okay.
The next will be agenda item number 27, which will be for Joan Winokur and Kenneth Heller for the homesteaded property at 2105 Exora Road, case CEMIS 2012-00030. This is Mr. Code Officer Kearson's case, which he opened back on November 2nd, 2012. The case was heard and adjudicated on January 2nd, 2013, with an abatement date of February 5th, 2013. Good evening, Mr. Wallen. If you would, please state your name for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Graham. It's Frank Rowland, 12865 West Dixie Highway, north of Miami, Florida, 33161. On behalf of Mr. Heller, who, on account of illness, could not be here this evening, and if I may, and perhaps to save us all some time, I'm very new to this, although I'm not new to Mr. Heller or Mr. Heller's problems, which I've actually previously discussed someday last year with the administration, and Mr. Heller hired me about an hour ago to see if I couldn't assist him, and I would like to try to help him bring his property into compliance, because I realize that his property is an eyesore, and that I think I can manage to help him get it to where it needs to be. So I would respectfully ask that this matter be continued. I plan on being, I think, out of the state on March 6th, because my family is coming from overseas, and they're going to be in California, and we were going to try to join them. So I would ask, please, if you could give us a 60-day continuance, and hopefully when we come back, it will be to tell you that the property is in compliance.
Okay.
I'd just like to, for the record, if we can go through the timeline, just so that we're all clear on how long this has been happening.
Ivy Kearson, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer of the North Miami Police Department. This started, I initially cited the property owner for this particular violation back on November 2nd, 2012. But this is stemming from a current violation that he's had for a fine that he had running for a minimum housing violation for his roof. And what it is, there's blue tarp that's been placed on the roof, and it's been like this for several years. This dates back to Hurricane Wilma. So this has been like this, like I say, since then, and that was what, 2005-06 with the tarp. And Mr. Wolin he's aware of it. He lives down the street, So
So this violation dates back to 2005. It's the same.
it's the
blue
same
tarp
blue
violation?
tarp, but because of the fact that what it is, I cited it under a different section because of the fact that I could not get him to comply. I've worked tirelessly with Mr. Heller and trying to get him assistance to get his roof repaired. Time and time again, I've tried to help this man, but he for some reason he refuses the help. And and although we do have a running fine, other neighbors are still complaining. It is an eyesore. I would like to show the pictures again to show, because what he does is once the tarp is torn, or he just replaces it with more tarp. So I just like to show the pictures from today that I took.
Okay. I think I remember this case.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Wolin, you think that you can get him to comply? And
Yeah,
put a roof?
I actually consider this a very challenging case. I think I'm up to the job. I had some conditions that I had to lay down with Mr. Heller in order to agree to represent him. So I'm hopeful that with the help of staff and certain other matters, which I'm going to have to work on with him, he is a service-disabled veteran and he's got issues, and I think I can bring him around to where we can get the tarps going.
Is anyone currently living? Is it his homestead property?
Yeah.
Yes, it is his homestead, and I realize that we can't attack the bigger problem until the tarps are gone and the roof is serviceable. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do.
Okay. Does anyone have any objections?
I just have a question, Mr. Wolin. So you'll be back in 60 days? Is back to update us? Back to? I mean, do you think that you can really resolve it within 60 days?
Madam City Attorney, my goal is to have that tarp be gone. I do promise this body that I will personally be up on his roof in order to evaluate it and try to see what I can do. I think we all recognize that a roof is these days a $20,000 or $30,000 item, and so I'm gonna use my best efforts to see what I can do. Like I say, not promising a new roof, but certainly to get rid of the tarps and to make the roof serviceable. And I've received some commitment from him, and I've got some other resources in the community that I am able to draw upon to try to help him.
Okay. Is he on the waiting list for the roof program?
I've
No?
tried. I've taken the application to him twice.
Well, we're hopeful that now that he has Mr. Rowland, that he will comply. And so if we can table it for 60 days and have
And
the parties come back in April, is it April 3rd?
Can I also state that it's not just the roof, it's just the overall maintenance of the property. The yard needs to be cut in the rear. He has a pool back there that needs to be maintained that, I can barely see on, only time I can see is when I'm on the boat, and the rear of the yard is so overgrown. So it's just, he needs to maintain the property.
I can tell you all that I'm going to try and get the roof blue tarp dealt with, because that's what's making all these neighbors crazy.
Yes.
I don't know what's involved to the rest of the property. I have never been on his property except to walk by the front of it, and I'll use my best efforts. I don't want to go somewhere where I don't know that I can go, but I promise you I'll be on that roof, and I'll do what I can to make it right.
Please do.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kirsten. Thank you, Your Honor.
So the order will be to table the case to April 3rd?
Correct.
Thank you.
And so that the fine would be extended for, you'd have another 60 days to comply?
We haven't ratified it, so.
There's
Okay.
no fine at this point.
Thank you.
We'll just bring this back for if it's not done by February 3rd, we'll bring it back for report on February 3rd.
April.
April 3rd, excuse me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next case is agenda item 28, Jewel and Betty Balaban for the property at 13040 North Bayshore Drive, case CELDR 2012-00021. This case was opened by Code Officer Kierson on April 3rd, 2012, heard in December 5th, 2012, and tabled to January. Prior to the January hearing, the case was postponed to this evening. Good evening.
You need me first?
Whoever would like to speak first, please introduce yourselves.
Mr. Goodis.
Does he speak? Doesn't he speak?
He will speak first, but we'd like you to introduce yourselves for the record and tell us.
My name is Morton Goodis. I'm an attorney for Mrs. Balaban. My address is 1090 Kane Concourse, Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, and I represent her in this matter at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Goodis. Okay. Does anyone, are you going to be speaking, or is there anyone else
This
speaking?
gentleman's going to speak as well.
Okay. Your name, sir?
Good evening. I'm Frederick Matthews. I'm a resident of Keystone Point 13095, Keystone Terrace, North Miami, Florida. I am the prospective buyer of this of Ms. Balaban's property.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Okay, Mr. Kierson is here, going to give us a report on the status of the case. Then we'll give you an opportunity, Mr. Goodis, to answer, ask him any questions, and then to make presentation. Mr. Kierson.
Ivy Kirsten, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer of the North Miami Police Department. Property address is 13040 North Bayshore Drive. Property owner is Jewel and Betty Balaban. This is a homesteaded property. Property is occupied. I did go by and inspect the property today. There is no compliance. I took pictures, photographs from across the canal, and so right now we stand still, no compliance, no life safety issues. But
We do not object to his presentation, and we don't object to the pictures, but we will explain our position to you.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Balaban and her husband have lived on this property for 30 years. Long-time residents. He was in the real estate business here in this community for many years. The seawall has collapsed behind the property, and it has to be repaired. My client is not in a financial position to do that. I'm sure, Judge, you're aware of the fact that to repair a seawall is a, large, expensive undertaking. The property is under contract for sale. I have the contract here. It is dated January 26th. The purchaser is standing with me, Mr. Matthews, his wife. As a condition of the purchase, and I'm happy to present this to you, as part of the contract, it says that buyers understand that the seawall and the dock need to be repaired as soon as possible. Buyers agree to enter into a contract with a licensed seawall contractor by the date of closing and agree to commence work as soon as possible after the closing within 30 days from all governmental authority approvals. Mr. Matthews is committed to make the repairs to the property. He's buying it. The contract is here. My client is not in a position to commence this work now, but must wait for Mr. Matthews to close. The closing date is set for April. So, Judge, what I would like you to do, because we understand that this must be done, The seller understands it, and the buyer understands it. The contract says it. If you will continue this matter, I'm sure that Mr. Matthews and his group will commence the work. Mr. Matthews, do you want to elaborate on what I've said?
Well, everything you've said is true. I understand the condition of the seawall. I'm presently engaged with 2 marine construction companies who do a lot of service here in the city. They know what they're doing. And upon closing, we'll start the job to mitigate the problem. Thank you.
Mr. Matthews has put up a deposit, and I've received. Mr. Matthews has put up the deposit. I've received a title commitment from his counsel. We are proceeding, Your Honor, normally to get this closed within the next month or 2. So if you would cooperate with us and assist this lady who needs to sell the property, not only to correct this, but to make other arrangements for herself and her family. Would you like me to present the contract to you, Judge, for your review?
Yes, please.
I'd like to have it back unless you want to keep it for some reason.
No, I don't.
No, but you, if you, I will.
What I would suggest is that perhaps the buyer can agree that he will proceed with a certificate of reoccupancy as required by the city, so that we can maybe place that in the order, as one of the conditions in the order. What a certificate of reoccupancy just essentially says that we'll go out and inspect the property, make sure that the seawall or whatever other issues are identified, and you would have to comply and remedy those situations by a certain date. So it's just anytime property changes hands. It's just so that's the only thing.
All right.
Just for information, normally in our city is one of the cities that requires a reoccupancy inspection prior to closing.
Yes, I'm familiar with
Okay, and then if there are any issues like the seawall, then we normally is the city would enter into a conditional certificate of reoccupancy with the buyer, which would spell out a time frame for bringing the violations into compliance, and that's probably the best way to go with this.
Okay. I'm unaware of any other violations or fines.
I believe this is the only
Okay.
violation on the property.
Good. Okay.
Thank you. I have reviewed the contract for sale, and including the language that council has stated on the record.
Okay.
Does the city attorney have any objection, or the code officer has any objection?
No, just
Okay. Do you want to bring it back in April,
Actually,
just
May.
to see where we are, or
If
you want May?
If the sale is going to be in April, I would suggest we bring this back for report on May 1st.
Will be closed before, but May would be the right date.
Okay.
That would be the code's recommendation. is
Good.
May 1st.
May 1st.
For a report, should it be necessary.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good. Judge, thank you.
Mr. Goodis, do you have a card? Or
I do.
If you would, that way we'll send you a copy of any notifications. Yes, that's why I would like to have your address, or you can just give it to me. If you have your card, that's fine. I'll give you mine. Of course. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Yes, I know. Richard,
send me a copy. Yes, he does. You're going to send me a copy.
Yes.
And we'll be back on the first hearing.
I'll send you notice.
Regime.
Thank you.
They can't manage the air. Something with the air.
I have no control over it.
Oh my.
Oh, we'll just have to be quick.
No.
May 1st. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll go quickly. Item 34, agenda item 34, Olympia Auto for 830 Northwest 122 Street, case CEODS 2012 00100, the Ms. Sanders case that was open September 11, 2012, adjudicated on December 5th, 2012, and with the abatement date of January 2nd, 2013. The case was brought forward and heard on January 2nd, 2013, and tabled to today. Fine amount has already been established. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please state your name for the record
Mark Otto.
and your relationship to the property or property owner.
I reside there, and my mother owns the property.
Thank you, Mr. Otto. Okay, we're going to receive a report from Ms. Sanders, the status of this case. Ms. Sanders. Good.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. I inspected the property today about 3 o'clock, and then I revisited again about 5:30. I have made some notations that some of the items have been removed, but some still remain. I'll let Mr. Otto explain, the details of the property, and I'll show pictures as he's discussing what's been going on at the property for the past month.
Right now? Your Honor, Special Magistrate in the court, I've been working on this vigilant. I did have work come my way that got me to Martin County, but every time I've been back in North Miami, I've worked on it. I have the yard looking great. I have the porch within my sight to have it finished. I have all my work area on the porch, and I'm sorry I fell short of the mark of having it done by this date. I think the pictures will show that a lot has been done. I have fixed for the second time, the first one got stolen. I've fixed up real nice the mailbox. 830 is on the building twice and on the mailbox. I'm thinking of everything. I didn't bring my paperwork. I have erected a fence again, and I have completely preened the yard except for stuff that blows in because I don't have a front fence. And all my work now is on the porch area. If I can just let you know that, I'm sorry it's a time issue, but I have been working vigilant on this, and I got everything to where I don't have to use the yard to sort things out or go through stuff. It's all being done on the porch, so only the porch is the problem now, to my knowledge. I mean, I think the pictures will show that. I have everything else pretty much contained to the porch area, and I'm sorry I have not completely 100% have it for this abatement date.
Can we see the pictures?
Yes, of course.
Sure, she's showing you some pictures of her property. Does that accurately reflect the pictures
It does.
of the
It does.
property from today?
I wish you could also see the first set of pictures ever. It would be more of a change. But yes, when she came by today, I figured she'd come maybe 4:30 or 5, so I was still working. And of course, I had some stuff out, trash can and whatnot. And I guess when she had come by again, that's how I left the property, and that's how I always leave it now, where the yard looks free of anything, but the porch is still, unfortunately, I'm still working on that. I've had a lot of box issues. I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask questions, and it's very distracting, but I've been vigilantly working on it, and like I say, I've contained everything to the porch area. Once that's done, I know I will be within compliance.
I remember you, Mr. Otto.
I know you do,
remember this
Special
case.
Magistrate. Yes, ma'am.
And as
I-
you're
I
looking, as you're looking at the pictures, so that you'll know what you're looking at, the first 2 or 3 pages are when I went back at 5:30, and as you see, I marked at the bottom the times, and after that is the pictures I took around 3 o'clock, and up under that are the pictures from when the violation was first cited.
So I don't know that I see much difference.
The yard doesn't look.
It looks like one area.
The sides are done, and the front, the whole yard is really done. Everything is just on everything is basically the porch. If the last picture should show that the porch is, and that's all. I'm a one-man show right now. I'm doing it by myself. I'm bagging, and I'm not just throwing everything in the bags. I do have to inspect what I'm, throwing out. And every Monday there's a big pile. And my neighbors are saying, "Whoa, you're really doing a great job." I mean, if their testimony I would have gotten them to do that. They would tell you, "Wow." I even have their help, in some cases. But really, I'm just a one-man show doing this right now. And I have found valuable things from the Marine Corps I didn't realize were out there, because you see that porch was closed in. So it was easy to get complacent by putting things in there, kind of like just throwing things in there. But when the hurricane came by, it ripped off the front, and it's exposed. And now I have to deal with it, and the elements getting at those things. It's no longer safe, or
Here's my concern. Here's my concern, Mr. Otto. You said your mother lives on the property. Correct?
No, only me. My mother lives down south. When my father died, she couldn't live in the house anymore.
Okay, so you live there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I'm an itinerant. I'm a transient worker, so I go where there's work. So sometimes I won't be there for a month. I'll be in Martin County working, and it's so funny because I happen to be a roofer. I would love to help this person before me their problem.
Okay. I just don't want to keep postponing this case,
I
month
understand.
to month to month, and then for you to come back and say, well, I wasn't here, I was in this town or that town, I wasn't here, I wasn't able to do the job, because we've been going back and forth on this for a while now.
But Special Magistrate,
And I need a commitment, a firm commitment that I won't see you back here next month.
you won't unless I'm allowed just to witness my abatement being cleared. I would love to be here just for that, but I won't be. I've been told that if I have it done, it's not mandatory to be here. You won't. You will. I'm telling you, this is. I have victory in my sight on this one. I just got to get the porch done, and that's it.
And you cannot find help? You cannot get anybody
I
to
do
help
have help
you?
on occasion, but the help is like, people with vehicles, they think they're helping me enough by carting stuff away, which is great. I've given stuff away. I've sold the pallets. That was one of the issues with some pallets that I had, and that was basically for the gas money for the people to help me. I'm using public transportation right now. I'm without a vehicle, so basically any help that I had is really just driving wise. It's not anybody helping me go through the stuff at all. It's that's just something I have to go through. I mean, literally and physically, it's just something I have to go through. My help has been with the neighbors, carting it away. If it was something good that I needed to take to storage, which now I have again, or if it was something to be hauled to the trash, that North Miami doesn't take. They don't take everything. Tires, for example, or whatever. And it's just stuff that accumulated, and all I've got left is this one area. And that's it.
I'm going to have to ask the officer what she recommends, because at this point, I don't know if I want to give you another continuance. So I will, Officer Sam.
I'm going to, ask that you not ask me what my recommendation would be. I would put that on the burden of the city and the city attorney, as per looking at the pictures and the status. I mean, me being the middleman that's out there, I don't want it to be on my back as to me granting extension or pressing a fine or anything. So I'll put that back on the burden of the city.
Understood.
Yeah, Your Honor, if you could just remind me, Officer, what was the last disposition? Was this? It's been tabled
Yeah,
a couple of.
it was last heard, and it was adjudicated in December.
Adjudicated
in December, and then heard in January, tabled to February.
And when was the violation first issued?
It was first noted and issued back in September 11, 2012. For wood pallets, furniture, boxes, bags, and other items on the property.
All of which are gone. All of which are the big items are gone. And appliances, everything. All I have left is the porch, and that doesn't hold that stuff. That's boxes and bags that I'm going through.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm going to recommend that we give him just one more month, and if we come back in March, then I would recommend that we start imposing fines beginning at the next hearing. If it's not completely removed
It will be.
No further continuance.
with no further continuances.
Roger
Okay.
that.
Mr. Otto, you do understand, because we've been
Completely.
through this before, it's kind of like we're running out of options for you, or patience for
understand.
that matter, too.
I understand.
Basically, get it done. I would want to see you next month.
I understand.
You know, Officer Sanders will be there. She will be
Mhm.
taking pictures, and she will be reporting back to us as to your progress. So we want to get it done.
I think it's
want
going
you
to
to
be
get it
favorable.
done.
Yes, I want to get it done. Believe me.
Thank you, Officer.
Thank you. You're all done. Good night. The next case is agenda item number 23, James and Sue Ellen Estep for the property at 1160 Northwest 126th Street, case CERCV 2012-00079. This is also Ms. Sanders' case. This case was opened by Ms. Sanders on September 14, 2012, and it was heard in January 2nd, 2013, and tabled to this evening. This was for a white boat parked on the front lawn of the property that's prohibited by ordinance. Good evening. Would you please state your name for the record?
Good evening. I'm Sue Ellen Estep.
Thank you, Ms. Estep. Ms. Sanders, if you give us a report.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. As originally stated, this violation was originally cited for a boat that's been parked on the property. Just as a refresher, this is the resident or the property owner that stated she applied for the administrative variance about 5 to 8 years ago. We've given a couple of extensions asking that both myself and the property owner visit the building and zoning department to see if anything was found. I myself looked as well as the property owner, and as of this date, nothing have been found. She has picked up the application for the variance, but it hasn't been submitted at this time. So I'll let the property owner explain, I guess, her conversation with Joanne and the status of what's going on with the variance and or the loss application.
Yes, that is correct. I was at the city to see Miss Joanne Martin as instructed by you the last meeting. And she sent me over to the zoning to pick up a permit for a variance. I was given a paper that's not for the recreational vehicle, and it was like a pamphlet. So I was trying to go through it. The following Monday, I went back to Miss Martin, and I asked her, I said, Miss Martin, I don't understand any of this. She said, oh, you don't have the right paperwork. So she went in her office and downloaded, I guess, something from her computer, and she gave me these papers. Well, this is like a short version of what I did 6 years ago when we purchased the boat. I mean, there has to be some sort of record, because I was given violations for this boat until I complied with the variance. And then for 6 years, I had no...
Do you have copies of the variance?
No,
You don't have
I
any.
do not. I do not. And I asked Ms. Sanders if she knew who was the code enforcement officer at that time, because she would remember me, and we couldn't, my recollection is not of the lady that this Ms. Sanders gave me her name. Also, it says that here that I had to have a survey of the property. I'm on disability, and I don't have money for things like this, and $262 for the same thing that I've had for 6 years. I mean, I don't understand it. The boundaries, all my neighbors are the same as they were 6 years ago, and they even told me that they would sign a paper that said they signed a paper 6 years ago.
I remember this case when you were here last time. We had the same discussion, and Mr. Graham indicated to the officer that he wanted her to do the research and get back to him as to whether or not we could find a variance on the record, the city's record. So it is her testimony that it's not there. For some reason or another, the city doesn't have any records of it. Unfortunately, you don't have a copy of it to be able to provide to us. So the only thing that you're going to have to do now is return the application. I don't know if there's a waiver, if they could waive the cost. Does the city know whether or not they could waive the cost, the $260 that she?
262.
No, I'm not aware of anything. I mean, it's this is for not to say that it's a luxury item, but it's for like a boat. It's
Yes.
not. So I would imagine that you wouldn't qualify for a waiver even if there was such.
Because the alternative is that if I impose a fine, then that's going to accumulate daily.
Yes,
And at
yes,
the end
I'm
of the
aware
day,
that.
you're going to owe a lot more than what did you say?
$62.
$262.
Yes.
So I think that, it's in your best interest to comply and return the application with the funds so that we can get this matter resolved.
And the survey and the boundaries and all of that all over again. There should be some sort of record. I mean, I was cited and then I wasn't. So there had to be like this where it was put into motion that it was cleared.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Perhaps you thought that there was a variance that was granted,
no, I didn't
but
think
it wasn't.
because
But it wasn't
I had
granted.
to buy hedges and plant them and get the neighbors to sign them.
And you're saying it was a variance to allow you to park your boat on
Yes, on the front yard, because you have to put. You have to plant hedges. They have to be between 2.5 feet tall and 5 feet tall. You have to have the boat back 10 feet, which we have all of that. You have to have permission from the neighbors that they're not bothered by the boat being there, which we're all the same neighbors. But
And
the
all of-
survey is.
And all of that does sound very believable. I will vouch for the property owner. Looking at the property, the way the hedges are and everything, it does seem plausible that a variance could have been issued, or maybe a conversation. I don't know. Maybe a conversation could have been had, and they explained to her what was done, and could have been done. But the hedges are very much there. You can look at the pictures and tell. And again, she seems very adamant about having the variance and knowing all the full details of what the variance entails.
Wouldn't we have a record of that?
We should, but I will be honest, and maybe I shouldn't say, but I think we all have been at the city long enough to know files have gotten misplaced, and even when I went next door to ask, they pulled out I'm smiling, but a manila folder that looks similar to this, and started going through a lot of paperwork, and I'm like, oh my goodness, nothing is in the computer, so she does seem believable. I mean, whether it's true or not is not up for me to decide. I'll put that on the burden of you all. But again, looking at the pictures and by what the property owner is
Can we see
saying,
the pictures?
it seems that there could be some truth to it.
Thank you.
Do the pictures accurately reflect your property?
Yes,
and boat?
yes.
And as
We've
you
lived
see
on the
there,
pro-
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We've lived in the property for 25 years, and some violations have occurred during the time, and we've rectified them. This is one of them. We had an issue with the roof that had to be painted many years ago. We fixed that, paid a fine. So now anytime we have any issues with the code, we make sure that my brother and I take care of it right away.
And just to show what you're looking at, you see the trees are aligned very much along the boat at an angle really parallel to the boat, that it seems like there could be some truth to it. But I would hate to have a resident pay those monies, especially if she's saying that she's under financial restraints, if it's something that the city misplaced or did not enter. But
Well, I mean, it's unfortunately, it's your burden to prove that that was the case. And like I said, it's a luxury item. It's a boat. It's not like I don't know what I could analogize it to, but
Okay. If I come with the $262.50, do I need to have a survey of the property? Because that's another $500 for a survey of the property.
So in order, that's what the variance,
The
that's what they
variance
require?
it requires a survey and a site plan. Well, we have the site plan that shows the boat and the hedges, alongside the boat and the property line. Back 10 feet is the guidelines from the sidewalk, back 10 feet, and the hedges have to be over 2.5 feet tall and over and then under 5 feet. So.
Okay, Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to recommend that we maybe table it, and I can work with her. I'll work with you, with your office, with my office, and the Community Planning Zoning Office to see whether we can resolve this.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, for how long?
Can we have 30 days and just we can come back?
Okay.
You want to look at the pictures?
Thank you from both me and the resident. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm kind of listening to your conversation. That's
Right
upon, we spoke last time and we spoke again today, and that's what I explained to her, maybe speak with the office, if there was anything, especially if she's saying the different works that she's done over the years, building and zoning may have something on microfilm, a copy of the survey that she can get a copy of, I think maybe $2, $3, $4. I don't know what they charge anymore, but she might can check with building and zoning to see if they have a copy of the survey.
Building and zoning also has a hard file. There's a cabinet with the surveys that they've collected and made photocopies of, and they're in
Yeah.
a file cabinet in the back.
Yes, I recall those years ago when I was in building and zoning, and I have brought that to her attention today when we spoke.
Ma'am, you understand that the city attorney has availed her office to your service? So please make contact with the city attorney's office, and
Can I?
if you have, passing your card right now, and do not wait for day 29 to make contact with the
No,
city attorney,
no.
okay?
As I said, I was down there giving some paperwork that was not for this.
Okay.
And now that took time for me to try to figure it out and then come back down again.
Okay, so keep contact with the code enforcement officer and make contact with the city attorney's office and see what we can get done. Okay?
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Give you
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
You're very welcome.
Okay, this is my name and phone number.
Okay,
I'm right downstairs. We'll just call,
I'll do it.
and then we'll set up an
You'll send me
appointment,
in the right direction.
and I'll walk through it with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next case is agenda item 2626. Jeanette Bose, 655 Northeast 131 Street, KCETRE 2012-00001. This case was opened by myself with the assistance of Code Officer Fitzell back in August 17, 2012. It was heard on October 3rd and tabled to January, and then heard in January and tabled to today. This was a case where the property owner had cut down a tree at the property, and in accordance with the Dade County tree abuse standards, the property owner is required to replace the damaged tree and the tree canopy with either 7 shade trees or 12 palm trees. Code Officer Fitzell inspected the property today and did not see that the new trees had been planted. So please identify yourself for the record.
Good evening. My name is Janet Bossy.
Okay. And as I said, a code officer inspected your property today and did not find the new trees planted.
I planted 6 trees. I had 6 trees planted there.
You planted 6 trees
Yes.
at the property?
Yes.
Okay. If I would call Code Officer Fitzell to come forward and act as a city witness and give testimony to the inspection that he conducted today on the property.
Ed Fitzell, City of North Miami Police Department Code Enforcement Officer. I didn't see the trees. Where are they planted, ma'am?
I got 6 trees planted in the back, yes. They are little, but I planted 6.
Okay, well, I didn't see them. You'd have to, I mean, we can postpone this
But
again
it's
for another
not
month.
in the same
And
place like the one was before, but I planned in the back is appendix 6.
Okay.
When
If
did
you go to
plant
the
them,
back, you're
ma'am?
going to see 6 plants.
When were the trees planted?
Since the first day when I say I'm going to plant in the middle of the month, and I
Right.
start to plant the trees.
Okay.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that
Yes.
the last time you were here, you said you were planning on planting some trees. So you said they're planted in the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you can just make an appointment with me then, and we can just postpone this, and you can show them to me. Is it with 6 trees, Alan, or 7 or 8? What was it?
The city had asked to have 7 trees, shade trees, or 12 palm trees. That's the county standard in this case.
And the oak tree removed that is dead. And part of it has been cut down as of today. Part of the oak tree has been removed.
Yes, there is a little part left on the
There was a
tree.
lot of the oak tree left.
Yeah, but there is a big part left. But I need the money to cut it. I don't have enough money to cut it now. That's why I left it there. But I'm going to cut it anyhow.
Okay. So for her to be in compliance, does she need to plant an additional tree? Because I don't want this.
Yes,
to keep
she
coming
would have
back.
to have 7 trees, shade trees.
And was these palm trees or were they shade trees?
I plant 2 palm trees, and I plant 2 mangoes, and I plant 2 other trees. I plant 1 cocoa tree, another one.
It's the county's code, and our city's adopted the county code and standard for a tree canopy replacement.
Okay.
So she would have to plant an additional tree, and under that circumstance, and listening to Code Officer Zell, I'd say what we should do is table this case with, if the city attorney has no objection, we'll table this to March. And
You can make an appointment with me, and
you
I'll
have to make an appointment.
meet with you and show me the trees. And
Okay, on Friday, yes, at any time you can come and I'm there.
Okay. And in
I'll
the
give you my
meantime-
card. And
And you'll have to plant 1 more tree. There has to be a
Meantime,
total
we'll
of
plant
7
one more
trees.
so that
Alright.
you can be in compliance.
Yes.
Understood?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right, thank
So
you.
we'll- Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right.
Thank you so
Can you
much.
take, officer, can you take pictures and come?
I took a picture of the oak tree today, but you just want to know about the new trees.
Pictures of the new trees.
Okay, I will do that when I go out, because unless they way in the back, I guess?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Bozay, you understand you have to call Code Officer
Yes,
Fitzell and
yes,
make
I
an
will.
appointment
Yes,
for him
yes.
to come take pictures.
Okay,
And you'll plant another tree.
okay.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The next cases are agenda item 4 and 49 for the same property and owner, Ahmad Mukhtar, for the property at 870 Northeast 142nd Street. First case is CEECS 2012 00008. This is Ms. Christie's case. And this case was opened on December 12, 2012, by Code Officer Fitzell on behalf of Ms. Christie regarding the existing carport that it has to repair the cover or remove the structure in the rear. Good evening, sir.
Yes, my name is Ahmed Mukhtar.
And you are
And-
the property owner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You received the notice. When you
Yes.
received the notice, do you understand what you were required to do to bring the violation into compliance?
Yes, sir.
Thank
I
you.
do.
We're going to have Ms. Christie give the testimony, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask any questions you have of her, and then to address the court. Ms. Christie.
Vidalyn Christie, Code Compliance, North Miami Police Department. This case was opened back in December 12th in regards to the carport structure in the rear of the property. Notice was served, and I do have pictures of the violation.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mukhtar, does these 2 photos accurately represent your
Yes, sir.
property as it is? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And these photographs were taken on this date? Today, 2/6/2013. Okay.
I just need a few days more to just everything gonna be okay. I did it 3 times the carport without not calling anybody. I have a receipt for Home Depot. I put it 2 times. That's the 3rd time I put it. What happened is heating and the plus the weather is show up the carport. And that's the 3rd time I did it. I spent almost like $500 to $600. So now I have a planning to remove all the stuff, the metal or whatever is there. But I cut the grass, everything fine. But I have something in the backyard left. I called some hardware people, recycle metal. They're gonna pick it up for that stuff. I have a card for pick up. I called them today, and they have appointment today to pick up, but they decline it. They probably gonna come Monday and Tuesday. They're gonna pick up all the metal stuff. But some of the stuff I have. Well, they're doing a consultation. They took my money and they run away. That's the 2nd time it's happened. The contractor, when I give that money, they took the money and go. I have wood and some other stuff left. I have to left it one way somehow, so I have to put something top in there. There is gonna be in there a little wall until I finish the case in the court. Because that's the 2nd person. They took like one person take $2,000, other person take $4,000. So they do little work. They dig in the front and all this thing. I have some front, and I have also my plan is fire. I needed to renew that. They also sent me the letter for that. I have to look after that too, but I don't know what to have to do because they make the new contract. I don't know how much the fees and all this thing is gonna take me a little while to do that. So I just need a little time. The whatever she showed me the picture, that can be done maybe Monday. Before Monday it could be happen. Monday they're gonna pick up the metal, but the clean the yard could be happen or quickly.
Want to table it?
Yeah, that's fine. I have no objection.
Okay. All right, sir. We're going to table this matter for a month.
Yeah, but I can have question. But whatever is gonna be wood stuff, you have to be there because I don't know where I can put it. I have like a backyard before.
This is a separate case.
Yeah.
You're speaking on
we're
the
not,
2nd
We're
case.
not there yet. Okay, for this matter, you indicated that you have a company coming in to remove the metal stuff, and you're going to clean up the other, what is it, structure or whatever part of the carport, correct? So that will be resolved.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be resolved. Not a
Okay.
problem.
All right.
All right.
If it's not, then we're going to need you to come back here in March.
All right, not a problem.
And let me call the companion case item 49, same property and address and owner, case CEODS 2012-00132. And this is for the items stored in the rear yard. Ms. Christie?
That's the next case, is it?
Yeah, this is on the items in the rear yard. Ms. Christie?
Officer Christie, Code Compliance, North Miami Police Department. This case was opened on the same day, December 12th, in regards to all the items stored in the backyard underneath that structure, like the stove, the wet vac, and all the other metal items and the loose wood, all those items, which is pretty much the picture you just saw.
Okay. Sir?
It's like a stove. It's right same next to it. There's gonna be remove everything. I call the recycle people. They're gonna pick up everything, freezer and all this thing. I'm gonna throw away and everything.
Okay.
I was hoping somebody I can give away, but I call a couple people. Is nobody pick? Maybe I have to trash it. That's it.
Okay, same thing, sir. We're going to table it for 1 month.
All
Get everything taken care of.
He will.
Okay,
He
so
will.
that when the officer goes back to the property, then she'll know that you took care of the violation.
It's well gonna be.
Okay?
Thank
But
you.
if it's not taken care of, we want to see you back here in one month.
It's not gonna be problem there.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not gonna give no issue with that. I'm gonna be solved before that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5, Anna Lopez, for the property at 1155 Northeast 133rd Street, KCE EXP 2012-00245. This is a new case opened by Code Officer Clark on December 10th, 2012, to paint the house. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name for the record, please?
Jacqueline Roll.
And your relationship to the property or to Miss Lopez?
The tenant.
You're the tenant?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we will allow the tenant to speak as, to offer witness testimony only. We're going to let Mr. Clark explain the violation.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Wayne Clark, City of North Miami Code Compliance Unit of the City of North Miami Police Department. First off, the property, from what I can see on the Miami-Dade records, is not homesteaded. This is a violation in reference to the exterior paint conditions, wall conditions of the property. And then the property was cited on December 10th. Letter was sent down on December 11, 2012, and for this hearing on January 2nd. I did, in fact, speak to the tenant's daughter, I believe it was,
yes,
in reference to the conditions of the outside walls, and then I also suggested that she tell the owner to apply for the city's paint program. As we know, they are looking for recipients of that program, where they're looking for applicants of that program, for that program, and I don't know if they relayed the message to the owner or if the owner even qualified, because there are certain income stipulations and whatnot. I do know that the owner owns more than one home also. To date, the property is still in the same condition. I went on several occasions, and I was told that the property would be painted by now. But to date, it's the same. I'd like to submit the photos for the record showing the defendant first. That's the house?
Yes, it is.
The house?
Yes.
Great job, Wayne. Great job. Buying you lunch.
Y'all heard that, right?
Thank you. On the record.
I didn't even see this right here.
I am reviewing a photograph that was taken by Officer Clark, dated January 28, 2013. Ms. Roll, have you had the opportunity to review the photograph?
Yes.
Is this the house that?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. What is your testimony involving this matter?
The first letter that normally whenever a letter is addressed to her, I just give it to her in an envelope along with, but she doesn't pick it up because I understand that she's disabled. So she hasn't a representative pick up her mail. Okay. So what was in there, I didn't know because I don't open up other people's mail. However, when the officer did come to my house and explained to him, I told them, I says, first of all, we got these bees. And for me to try, and I've been trying to get approval, if I pay for the bees, can I take it out of my rent? So far, no reply. Nobody's going to paint that house with those bees. I think that my daughter has said that you knew somebody who can do the bees or whatever. You have a card that we could try to, we could have tried to maybe work with something. But if we can get rid of the bees, and if I have to put a coat of paint on them myself, I will. But nobody's not going to do it. I mean, I have a bee problem first. Because where he wants us to paint, that's where the bees dwells.
And where is the owner?
She has a representative that's been coming out for the last year. That's why I pay checks. And but I explained to him, I said, first, this was before the paint came around. We had bees. And I says that, we got to do something about these bees because I have grants. However, every month, he says, I told her, she never said anything. And then I found out that when he came up pick up this month's rent, that she's disabled, she's sickly. Okay, but I told him now I have an officer that came by and said that we need to comply with the painting. I came and I thought they were going to come. So that's why I sat back there and I kept looking around. I said, okay, nobody else don't look like but just me. So
and
I'm here
how long is your lease?
I don't have a
Just a month to
It's
month?
just a month to month. And I've
How
been
long
there
have you
6
been?
years.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been there for a little while.
Okay.
It's just that it's the first time we had bees. First time we had code enforcement came, I had to let them know, you better go to my next door neighbor. I know who did this. So I try to make sure we keep stuff intact. And because I don't want any burdens that she will charge me for that. Only thing I can suggest, if the court would allow, can we find out where we get rid of the bees? And I know if she's not going to do the bees, she's not going to come out and try to qualify for no paint.
Well, let me ask you this. When's the last time you talked to the owner, minus the guy, I guess, is the property manager?
I haven't. That's why I paid by check.
6 years you've never
Oh, no. I haven't heard since for last year.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a contact number and information for her?
You know what? That number that I have, because I try to call it, that number don't work no more. So when they come pick up the next month rent, somebody go give me some information. But that's why I make sure that, again, I pay by check.
So the guy you're talking to is the property manager?
I don't know. He's been there. He's been coming by often to just to pick up her representative. So whoever it is.
That's strange. So you don't have no emergency contact person, basically?
Honestly, no. Not since the last year. No. Since this for a year. I have no emergency, nobody. Fortunately, anything that been happening in the house, we took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the first time I had to come out here and represent this house.
Okay, we're trying to help you with the bees.
I appreciate it. I throw some paint on there.
Okay.
Well, the violation goes against the owner.
Yeah.
Counsel?
So I think we're going to, since there are bees, we'll open up a case again for the bees and open up a nuisance case, and we'll be allowed then to go on the property because it's a nuisance and either kill or remove the bees, and then we can address the paint once the bees are removed.
Okay,
So
you
perhaps
want
we
us to
can
table it?
table it for 60 days. It's
Okay.
just paint. So yeah.
For a month.
So can you, officer, can you open up a nuisance file?
Whatever y'all
for the
want.
bees, and that way we can resolve that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
So what was the judgment? 30
We'll
days?
table-
Right?
60 days.
Till April?
60 days.
April 3rd.
Okay. Oh, the
April
neighbor
3rd.
don't get mad.
That's fine.
So-
In the bee house.
Thank you.
So you all
Thank you for coming.
gonna come out
We're
to
gonna take care of
these?
the bees for you.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Don't they get the guy name is still Willie the beekeeper?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Wayne will put through a nuisance violation, and then we'll send it to the bee man, Roger. And then the lien. Oh. Okay. All right, it is now 7:26 p.m. There are no further property owners, violators, attorneys, or any other parties, so we do have a few additional cases that we'll wind up hearing ex parte. We want to thank the city attorney
Thank
for
you.
being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Wayne, what time you have lunch tomorrow?
It's a lunch day.
Oh wow.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we're going to continue with agenda item 1313. Elizabeth Mary Davis for the property at 1210 Northeast 141 Street, CEEXP 2012-00212. This is a new case opened by Ms. Christie on October 25th, 2012. Ms. Christie.
Vidalyn Christie, Code Compliance, City of North Miami Police Department. The case was open on 10/25/2012. Certified mail was sent to the property on the 18th of January, and property posted with notice to appear on the 17th. I do have photos of the property for the record. It's an EXP.
Thank you. I am reviewing a photograph that was taken on February 5th, 2013, and the violation is the paint that's
Exterior
peeling.
Exterior painting.
Okay. All right. And you have not had any contact with the property owner or any tenants on the property?
No.
Okay. All right, I find that based on the evidence and unrebutted testimony of the officer that the violation does exist. I'll hereby impose a fine of $25 per day with a abatement date of March 6, 2013,
Thank you.
including cost.
Next case will be agenda item number 3535. Patrick Eustache for the property at 1200 Northeast 128th Street, CE MHA 2012 00007. This case was opened by Ms. Christie back on October 5th, 2012. And it was adjudicated on December 5th, 2012, an abatement date of January 2nd, 2013. A fine amount has already been established. Ms. Christie.
Vidal and Christie, Code Compliance, North Miami Police Department. Certified mail was mailed to the property on the 18th of January. Notification for the hearing posted on the 17th. I do have pictures as of today taken by Officer Clark, and there has been no changes at the property. I do have pictures for the record.
Thank you. I have been presented with a photograph dated 2/6/2013 of the property and showing the pool area and the structure. Okay, this matter was adjudicated back in December 5th, and I find, based on the evidence presented and the unrebutted testimony of the officer, that the violation still exists, and therefore the $25 fine is hereby ratified.
Thank you. Next case will be agenda item number 36 on the agenda. Philippe Joseph, who owns the property at 260 Northwest 134th Street, KCE JNK 2012 00152.
Wayne Clark, City of North Miami Code Compliance Unit, the North Miami Police Department. This is a case that was previously heard in reference to junk on the property. I'm representing Officer Wilcox in this case. I'd like to submit the photo for the record. Looks to be, I have another photo here. Looks to be like a piece of a car in the rear yard. To date, the vehicle is still there, same condition, same position. We haven't heard from the owners in reference to this, and they haven't moved it. So.
Okay, this case actually, and I'm looking at photographs that were taken on 2/5/2013. Based on the evidence presented and the unrebutted testimony of the officers, I hereby find that the violation still exists. I find there's proper notice, and the $25 is hereby ratified. $25 fine per day is hereby ratified.
Okay. Agenda item 37, Raymond Jean, who has the property at 1103 Northwest 122 Street, KCEFAW 2012 00123. It's a new case cited by Ms. Sanders on December 6, 2012. The cement wall at the front of the property is chip paint, needs to be repainted and or touched up. Ms. Sanders.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. As already stated, this is a case for a cement wall that needs to be painted. It was originally cited December 6th of 2012. I am showing that certified mailing was mailed out on January 18th, as well as the property being posted on January 24th. I have pictures to show. As of today, the violation still remains.
I am reviewing photographs that were taken on this day, 2/6/2013. And the violation is the cement wall?
Yes, it's a cement wall.
Okay.
The pictures as of today does show that they've started some work. The pictures from when it was originally cited in December and back when we first posted the property in January, it was pink chipped paint that needed to be cleaned. Now it shows as though they restuccoed the wall and are starting to do some work, but as of today, it still needs to be painted.
Okay. Based on the testimony of the officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation still exists. I find there was proper notice, and I will issue a daily fine of $25 with the abatement date.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
With an abatement date of March 6, 2013.
The last case for the evening is agenda item 43 against Spas Investments LLC for the property at 741 Northeast 142 Street, KCE BNP 2012-00118. This is a new case opened by Code Officer Fitzell on December 12, 2012 for building without a permit for fence, electrical, plumbing, and other work being done at the property. Mr. Fitzell.
Edmund Fitzell, City of North Miami Police Department Code Enforcement Officer. This property was originally cited on December 12th under Section 5-60, building without a permit. When I came to the property, I'd come upon property contractor there, and he was translated by our clerk, so they were understandable to go get their permits. They never got their permits. Came out to the property and it was mailed a certified notice to appear on January 18th. The property was posted on January 17th for the notice to appear, and affidavit of service was filed. On February 1st, I went out there with another officer. They were still doing work on this property after I had spoken to them several times to get the permits. Then a citation was issued. I called. I found the owner's property on Sunbiz. I found his phone number, and it's ringing to a fax machine. This property is a vacant property except for the work being done. It's non-homesteaded, and there's no life and safety issues on this property. I have photos here of the work that they're doing. I asked them to get permits for building, plumbing, electrical, and so forth, as you'll see here in the photos.
I am looking at an array of photographs that have been submitted by the officer dated 2/1/2013, showing construction work. And you're saying you have not made contact with the owner?
I've made contact twice or three times now with the workers there.
Mhm.
They proceeded to hide the work. They've closed the fence, parked the cars behind the fence. They boarded up the windows with blinds and wood so I cannot see inside.
So at this point, it's blatant.
It's blatant, and they said they're not doing anything, as you can see in the photos. I've never said anything before, but what I'm going to say here is that I've never asked for, gave my opinion on a fine or an abatement date, but I'm asking for a very short abatement date on this, not giving them until next month, because I've been dealing with them since December, and I asked for a stiff fine
Okay.
to go forward, because they're just not going to get the permits.
All right. I find based on the evidence presented by the officer and the unrebutted testimony of the officer, I find there is blatant violation considering the officer had made contact twice with the workers on the property. Considering this is a business, you would think that people would want to comply. I find there is proper notice, and I will have a daily fine. I will impose a daily fine of $100 per day with an abatement date. Mr. Graham, how soon can we get an abatement date?
Well, actually, the abatement date would be March 5th. We bring it back for ratification of the fine on March 6th. That's the earliest we could bring it back.
Okay.
Okay, abatement date is March 5th, 2013.
Thank you. I have no way to do it earlier. I mean, we could do the abatement date earlier, but the earliest we bring it back is March 6th.
They can get fined from the abatement date.
Yeah, if Your Honor, you could set an earlier abatement date, but we wouldn't bring it back for fine ratification until March 6th.
Okay, why don't we give them 2 weeks? What's 2 weeks from
Fine.
here?
We can make it February 15th.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I will,
February 15th is next Friday.
okay,
So-
February 15th
Sounds
is
good to
the
me.
abatement date. Plus cost.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you, Ed. Your Honor, I have no further cases to present this evening. We have no old business and no new business. So with your permission, we'll adjourn at 7:40.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.